Okay, so we're talking about SAT Concept 109. The same concept can be found on ACT Concept Packet 108. This concept is not tested that often. Maybe one problem to test. So 1 out of 75 on the ACT, 1 out of 44 on the SAT grammar sections. But it's so easy to miss if you're not aware of how you're being tested and what the problem type actually is. So it's just good to be aware of this type of problem. Once you can spot it, it makes the question so easy to do. And all you really need to do is go through the 20 problems on this packet or the 20 equivalent problems on the ACT packet, and just make sure you feel comfortable with spotting misplaced modifiers. So let's scroll down. So a modifier is some type of descriptor. It's some type of adjective phrase. So an example could be a participle, or, and that's spelled wrong, or an appositive. Okay. So if you have a participle or an appositive, usually at the beginning of a sentence, it's describing a noun. So the only thing you have to check when you have this situation is to make sure that the noun that follows is actually the thing being described. If it's not, then that's what's called a misplaced modifier. It's modifying the wrong thing. A classic example that I like to use is this one. Running late, Becky's keys were found by the door. So if you're just relying on your ear, the sentence may sound a little bit awkward, but you may not think there's anything wrong with it. It's actually entirely incorrect, and it will always be incorrect 100%. So it's just a matter of figuring out why. So running late is a descriptor. It's a participle phrase. So we assume that Becky's running late, but guess what? Becky's nowhere to be found in this sentence. Instead, right after the comma, we have Becky's keys. Well, keys can't run late. So anyway, the easy way to correct it is running late, Becky has to follow the comma. Within a positive, it follows a similar type of setup. If you have it at the beginning of the sentence, we have a large man. So in a positive, by the way, is just an a, an, or the statement. It's a phrase that modifies a noun that follows. So a large man, LeBron's mom cheered on her son. So as we know, a mom is not a large man. Instead, we have a large man, LeBron received cheers from his mom. So we just have to make sure that whatever follows the comma is actually the thing being described. We'll take a look at a few quick problems, and then you'll be ready to begin. We'll just take a look at the first two on this worksheet. So if you want, you can pause the video before I read number 1 and number 2. I'll even put them both on the screen at the same time. But I'm going to go right into it. So having become frustrated trying to solve difficult problems. So this is a participle phrase. Whatever follows a comma has to be who's becoming frustrated. So ideas don't become frustrated. No colleagues, so the lack of people doesn't become frustrated. So then you're just down to B and D, and D is the one that actually makes sense. Having become frustrated trying to solve difficult problems, I missed having colleagues nearby to consult. Colleagues were important for sharing my ideas. It doesn't really make sense because in this case, we know I is becoming frustrated because I is missing having people to help. Okay, so anyway, if we look at example 2, again, it's funny. They're testing us on the first part. They're testing us on the modifier because they've actually already given us the noun that follows. The noun in this case is the discipline. So a discipline is something like philosophy, astronomy. It's any type of field of study. So we have, but more pragmatically, the discipline encourages students to analyze complex material, question conventional beliefs, and express thoughts in a concise manner. So this one is A. Pragmatically is being used to describe the discipline. It's a pragmatic or it's a practical or logical discipline. The issue, and you can see if you can spot it, B, C, and D all have the same issue. They make it seem like the discipline is speaking. Well, philosophy, astronomy, whatever it may be, doesn't speak. So as you can see, you'd have incorrect modification there. Anyway, good luck with this problem type. Like I said, once you get it down, you'll be able to spot it on the test, and you won't miss a problem just for lack of recognition. Okay, bye.